Hi guys! Today I'm going to be showing you what's on my phone. I have an iPhone 6s in silver, and my case is just plain white. So this is my lock screen. It says Alohomora. On this bottom dashboard, I have the phone app, Safari, and Spotify, which is used for listening to music. And I'll link my study playlist on Spotify in the description. The first folder I have is Education, and in here I have Calculator, Google Classroom, Duolingo, which is used to learn languages, Memrise, which is for flashcard vocabulary words in another language, Quizlet, which is for flashcards, and Cetera, which is a game for maps. I've been playing this game, which I did not exit out of. The next folder is Health, and here first I have Stop, Breathe, and Think, which is a mindfulness meditation app. And then I have Health, which is the default Apple Health app. The only reason I keep it is because it can't be deleted. And Spot On, which is a period tracker. This next folder is Info, which is kind of like a miscellaneous folder. So first I have the App Store. Also Find My iPhone, which is kind of useless to me because I don't have data, but I can't delete it, so it just goes in here. I have Settings. Sunshine is a weather app, and you can tell it what you're feeling at each temperature. For example, maybe it's 52 degrees and you feel cold. And then it'll keep track of your preferences and let you know how you'll be feeling on each day. And here I have Wallet. I don't use this at all, but it can't be deleted. My next folder is Music. So I have podcasts, which technically aren't music, but they're another thing that I listen to. I have a tuner for the ukulele, and I have voice memos. And with voice memos, I usually record myself playing my choir songs on the piano so that I can learn the tunes while I'm away. This next folder is Photos. So I have the camera, and I actually normally use, I usually use this device for filming my videos, which is why the image quality might be a little bit wonky this time. I'm using an older tablet. This is Hyperlapse, which I use for filming time-lapse videos, like my calligraphy, which you may have seen on my Instagram. Photos, for photos, obviously. And Polar, this is my photo editing app of choice for all the photos you'll see on my Instagram and Tumblr. The next folder is Social. So first I have Contacts, Facebook, Gmail, GroupMe, which is a group chat app, Hangouts, which is the messaging function for Gmail, Instagram. By the way, you should follow me on Instagram. It's at studyquill, #spawn. I have Facebook Messenger, Pinterest, Messages, Skype, YouTube Studio, which I use for reading and replying to your comments, Tumblr, my Tumblr is also at studyquill, and WeChat, which I use for texting my parents, and YouTube, obviously. The next folder is Time. So first I have Clock. Then I have Forest, which is used for Pomodoro. Time Glass is for interval timers. I usually use this for keeping me on track during my morning routine. And last but not least, I have Hours Tracker, which is like a time logger. I mostly use this for my volunteer work. And the last folder is Words. So first there's Google Docs and Google Drive, iBooks, which I don't use very often, And then there's notes, which are for jotting down quick notes and to-do lists. Radish and Wattpad are both used for reading books that people have written online. They're not technically books, they're like mostly fan fiction, gonna be honest. I use Wattpad mostly because you can save the books offline, so if I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, I can still read something. And I have another page of apps, as you can probably tell from these dots. Those are the ones that have some information about my location, such as my school, school district, etc. So I'd prefer not to show them. And that's everything I've got on my phone. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I upload new videos every Monday and Friday, and you can check out my Tumblr and Instagram, which will be linked in the description. See you next time!